All right. Hello. So, good day, family. Once again, welcome to um, my channel. So, today I'm here to quickly brief you on how most importers have become millionaires in a short space of time, importing specifically from China. All right. So, um, one of the things that most people jump into is when they find items on any of these Chinese markets. They just jump on there, whatever item they see that looks attractive, they just buy. And when they buy, whatever plan or whatever kind of market they have, they just begin to advertise without having any concrete plan. So today I'm here to guide you through how you can structure your importation from China in such a way that you can have a very concrete and a solid plan in order to succeed importing from China. So today I'm basically going to take you through how you can go about um, drawing up a very nice plan on how you can get very good returns on every single item that you import from China without having to struggle. So this is just a simple analysis that I'm going to have with you, that I believe that as you go along, you'd inculcate this into your importation plans, and I'm sure you would have a clear picture of where you want to go to. I have um, we have people who have become millionaires by importing from China, and to get on that road of becoming a millionaire, you need to have a concrete plan. You need to have a very good strategy that can beat the current market in your home country, especially Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Togo, and then some other West and then Southern African countries. So there's a nice way to go about your importation in such a way that you can beat the market in your local country, and then beat the prices in your local country and be on the edge, on the competitive edge. You are going to be on top. All right. So basically, let's go through what I simply have here. It's a very simple um Excel sheet that I've drawn up here, showing you the kind of product that you really want to import, showing the cost price in Chinese yuan, showing the item. For instance, so let's go details. For instance, if I want to buy men's shirts from China, let's go to Chinese. Let's go to a typical example is on the Alibaba website. So let's go to apparel. When you go to apparel, they'll give us more breakdown of apparels. All right. So we are looking at men apparel. All right. So um, when I even put on the apparel, you could see that they gave me a lot of breakdowns. Either I'm looking for belt and accessory fabric, whatever, uh, scarves and shawls, wedding apparel, accessories, grooms wear, ties and accessories, skirts, whatever. And then we look at gloves, hats, and many, many, many others. Okay, so let's look at accessories such as we are looking for men's shirt. Or another way is whatever item you want to look, you can just type in here and search. Okay, we have not yet gotten to the stage where we are going to really look at which platform to buy from and all that. We'll do that in our next video. Okay, so today we are just going to show you how you can draw up the plan on an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't really need that you are someone who has foreknowledge of how Excel spreadsheet works, you can even write it, draw some simple table in your book, and then put down all this information. And there's a simple calculation I want to show you, you know. So full sleeve, we are looking at men's shirt full sleeve. All right, so when you go, they will list them, and then it comes with a couple of prices. Okay, I am in Ghana. Okay, so I can look at the price that they have here. All right, and then also go and search prices of men's shirt in Ghana. All right, so you could see that it's quoting. There are some websites that people usually buy from, and they've listed them here. All right, shirts in Ghana, gj.com. Go and then you look at the various kind of shirts. Whichever shirts you find on Alibaba that really looks nice to you, you can copy their image, come to that all these local websites and search the same shirt and compare their prices. So let's go back to our table. Now basically what you want to do is that, for instance, I have a fair idea of things that I have listed here. So if I look at men's shirt, often let's say it's an office men's shirt, we'll find price ranging from 30 yuan, 35, 40, 55 yuan. All right, depending on the quality and then the style. So for instance, I'm picking a shirt this is around 30 yuan on the any of those Chinese websites or Chinese markets. All right, then I go to my local market and I find out that the price is 100. My currency is cedis, so the price is 100 cedis. Now on the average, I know how much one shirt should cost when I'm going to ship to my country. So for instance, one other thing that you need to know is that there are forms of shipping. It can go through sea, it can go through air. I stated that in my previous video, when I was giving you the background of importation from China. Okay, so the forms of shipment are either it's coming through the sea or it's coming through air. Sea is through ship, and then the air is through plane, an aeroplane, which is quite faster but much expensive than compared to on the sea. So for instance, I stated in my previous video that if you live somewhere in Ghana, it takes a maximum of 1 month and 2 weeks, a minimum of 1 month and 2 weeks for item to get through to you through ship. And then with air, if it takes off today, the next day it can even arrive in Ghana. But I mean, you should know that the cost involved will be a little bit high. So anything besides yuan that I've stated on this sheet are all in Ghana cedis. All right, so for instance, GH. All right, so this is Ghana cedis. And then so let's say if it is air too. So now I have a market survey, and I've noticed that that particular shirt costs 100 cedis in my country, and then the shipping cost is also 10 cedis. So in addition to my what's the name? In addition to this is the shipping cost that would accrue when I go through sea and if I go through air. Now another thing is that you should have a fair idea of what the current exchange rate in your country is, because if you are going to import from China, you'd have to convert your currency cedis into yuan before you can purchase from them, whichever means and whichever platform. All right, so you should have a fair idea of how much the current exchange rate is to also have a fair idea. So for instance, if the current exchange rate is 2, I know that whichever item that I'm buying is multiplied by 2, or is twice the cost of my currency. Okay, so this particular one is 30. Now let's look at the cost in local currency. So if I look at 30 yuan, my local currency should be 60 Ghana cedis. All right, or if it is naira, for instance, I'm just saying, if it is naira, it could be 60 naira, right? Okay, so now I'm considering to have a profit margin of 40%. Okay, I initially said 30, but let me change it here. I'm considering to have a profit margin of 40%. So whatever item I buy, I'm looking at a profit margin of 40% profit on whatever I'll buy. Now, so the 40% off what? 40% off the cost. Okay, so if this item costs 60 cedis, I'm looking to get a profit of 40% per one. So my profit will be 24 cedis, which is 40% of 60. If you have a calculator, you can punch that and see 40% of 60 gives you 24. So here we get 24 cedis. All right, we get 24 cedis. Now we look at the selling price. So how much am I going to sell it? Considering the fact that in my country the item is being sold at this cost. Let me now put this particular highlighter here for you to see the red side. So this is the current prices in my home country. Now it sells for 100 cedis in my country, and now I want to sell mine at what? 94. Why would I sell mine at 94? I've considered a few things that should add on to make me determine how much I want to sell. So now the 94 comes from where? It comes from my profit margin adding to the total cost, the cost in my local currency, and then I add my shipping cost. So I've added my shipping cost, I've added the cost of the item, and I've added my profit margin. So I arrive at 94. If I arrive at 94 and I compare to 100, so if you were an individual going to the market to buy, and someone sells one for you at 100 cedis and another person sells to you at 90 cedis, or for instance you go the market, someone is selling it at 10,000 naira, on another person is selling it for just 94,000 and 9,400 naira, which one will you buy? You would prefer to go for the lower price, right? So basically this is a simple table for you to draw up to have a fair idea of how much you are going to make on each item before you even begin the importation. And now let me do this calculation for you. So for instance, this is just a profit that I'm making on one. If you live in Ghana, for instance, let's do a simple analysis. So 24, if I'm buying 24, if I'm making 24 cedis on each item, or 2,400 naira on each item, okay, and I'm going to multiply it by, let's say I'm buying 50 of this, or I'm going to sell 20 of these shirts. How much profit do you think I'm making? I'm making 480 cedis for selling 20 pieces of these shirts. Now let's not just end there. So I sold 40 pieces, I sold 20 pieces. Now let's say I'm adding on to this, I'm selling another 10 pieces of, sorry, I'm selling another 10 pieces of this. So this multiplied by, let's say, okay, I'm selling 20 pieces of this one as well. Okay, so what do I get? I get 1,120 for, let's say, selling 20 pieces. That is 10 pieces of this. Assuming we go ahead with other listed items. So for instance, if within a year I'm able to sell, let's say, 90 pieces of this shirt, and I'm able to sell 85 pieces of the ladies office wear, how much am I going to make? This is how much is that? That is 4,880 cedis for just these two items, and that's the profit I'm making on just buying and selling, which I didn't have any production of material. I didn't consume any material. Let's go ahead. So for instance, we've seen men's shoe. In Ghana, men's shoe cost so much, but we've seen it on 1688, and let's say we have a highest of 100, and then in my country I have it costing somewhere around correct men's shoe that costs 100 yuan should cost somewhere around 250 cedis in my country. Shipping cost for this should be around, let's say, one box should be around 30 cedis, and then shipping by air, which I am not even going to consider. Cost in my local currency, so I'm looking at 100 yuan by my current exchange rate, so which equal to 100 by 2. All right, 100 you multiply it by 2, so which is 200 yuan. Now what will be my profit margin? So I'm looking at my profit margin is so 40% of 200, okay, which is giving me 80. Now how much am I going to sell it? I'm actually going to sell it at my current plus my profit plus my shipping. Okay, so this plus I have to add my shipping cost. So I've added my shipping cost plus my cost of selling and then my profit margin, so it makes it 310. Well, I've quoted a lower price here because, so for instance, let's say it cost 350. I had recently bought a shoe which really cost 500 cedis, 550, and it was something simple though, but that was how much I was supposed to pay anyway. So here the profit that I'm making, if I bought it at 100 and then I'm selling it at 310, I'm making a profit of 80. So for instance, in a year, if I'm able to sell 10 of these shoes, so now we have this multiplied by, okay, let's say I sold 15 of these shoes. Okay, now I'm making 6,000. So imagine within a year, all these items combined. Ladies' shoes also come into play. Ladies buy a lot of shoes. So within a year, let's say the cost on the market is 88 yuan. My local country, they sell some of the shoes as much as 280. See this shipping cost, let's say 25 yuan, 25 cedis, sorry, which is, I'm not going to use cost in local currency, so it is 88 by 2, right? So it's basically this by 2, so 176. Now what will be my profit margin? So it is literally this multiplied by this. Okay, so I'm looking at a profit of 70 cedis on this shoe that I've bought, I'm buying. All right, so I have this, and then so now my selling price becomes this, in addition to my profit margin, in addition to my shipping cost. So what do I get? I'm selling it for 271, then someone sells it at 280, and I'm selling it at 270, a difference of 10 cedis, which will make my sell, and I'm making a profit of 70 on one. Okay, so assuming I'm adding this, okay, this is just simple calculation, but because it's on the sheet, that's why I'm making it a bit of so I'm selling 70. I'm selling, let's say with the ladies shoe, they buy more, so I'm selling 30 pieces of it within a whole year. How much am I making? So on the cumulative, I've made 8,192. So can you imagine that you have your own personal business you are doing, and you are doing this as a side business? Don't you think it's really going to be nice fetching? Per annum or within a year, you are able to accumulate this amount of money for just advertising and selling as a side business. It sounds so nice and so beautiful to just even accumulate money. Let's look at another thing. For instance, I'm looking at water bottles. Okay, water bottles in my country. So let's say on the market they sell some for 10 yen. All right, and then here in my country they sell some for as much as 65 cedis for one. Now let's look at my shipping cost for single item. So let's say for a single bottle it costs 5 cedis. Now let's look at this in my local currency. So that should be like 20. All right, what is my profit margin? So I'm looking at 20 by this giving me 8. So how much am I going to sell it? I'm going to sell it at this plus this plus this. So I'm selling it at 33 cedis, whilst it costs 65. I'm making a profit of 8 cedis on one. Okay, if I'm making a profit of 8 cedis on one, bottles they sell so much. So let's say I'm able to sell 120 pieces. Okay, let's say I'm able to sell 120 pieces of this is the profit that I'm making on this. So now if I sell 120 pieces of the bottle, adding to whatever all these items that I'm selling, look at how much I have here. Cumulatively, if you are able to take your time, set aside your capital for your import business, and you wouldn't combine it with your personal monies, I bet you that you are going to really make good monies on the market. So whatever you're buying, you just have to have a good profit margin to add on to your. And most of these prices that I stated in my local currencies, you will notice that most of the items you want to buy, if you compare to the market prices, you will notice that the margins are very wide. Unlike these ones, the margins are more closer. The margins are extremely wider. Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Benin, So this is one of the strategic way to becoming a millionaire if you want to really compound and then know how to add profit margins to your cost price. So whatever you are buying, you are looking at the cost of shipping and then you are looking at your profit margin, comparing it to the prices in your local country. Don't just buy and price anything anyhow. Look at the cost in your local country. You can go online to the local markets that are available in your country, compare prices. You can even virtually or literally go to the market yourself where you live in your local area or in the mall, go and look at various prices of items they have there, and then based on that you look at how much you can equally price your item, what profit margin you can. You can necessarily ignore the percentages that I have quoted, as I'm using percentages, but you can also consider adding a specific amount that you think at the end of the day that is not going to be equivalent to the prices in your local country. All right, so basically this is these are some of the nooks and hooks to becoming a millionaire importing goods from China. So I'll end here for today, and then I'm going to bring the next video on. I'm going to make videos on which particular platforms you can use, the good platforms that you can use to actually search for products on the Chinese market, and how you can go about those platforms. All right, and how you can filter and get good suppliers and all that. And also on the same platform, we'll compare them to each other. All right, so I want to say that wish you all the best. Please subscribe to the channel, and then let's wait for the next video. Share the video for others to also benefit as you are here benefiting. So I wish you all the best. Have the best of the day. Goodbye for now.